Hello, Connective. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Like, share, and subscribe without smashing anything, and let's get into this energy. This is a collective reading for Libra. Libra, let's see what messages are coming out for you today. Let's see what's going on. Wow. All right. Got the door to spirit on the table. I'll show it to you guys in a second. Let's see what else is going on here. Energy Oracle. Get some more messages for Libra today. Anything out of the energy cards? Oh, I don't know. It looked like another door. We'll see. That's weird. That was clumsy. We're gonna, yeah. That's like, no way. All right. Actually, let's just. Let me get him to just kind of mix up. Come on. Maybe that's why they're so cuckoo. Okay, hold on. All right. Want to like move around now so not as crazy. Let's see. Okay. What do we have? Now I'm curious. Oh, that's what I saw. Okay. Deceit. We're going to put him over there. Last time he came out with this too. We're going to put that over there. We've got Happy Family. This is what you're working towards. And then Door to Spirit, which is that first one that popped out that I saw. That cannot be the only persona on the table. We get some better cards for Libra. Thank you. It's got to be better than whatever. I mean, you know, Happy Family and Door to Spirit's not terrible. Well, neither is Yin Yang. But again, I'm taking it as, you know, just regular old balance, which, you know, Libra is striving for in family and friendships, of course, you know. Libra doesn't always necessarily bring it, but they're looking for it kind of thing. In this case, you might be bringing it. The other person might be acting up. Let's see what's going on. If no other people come out, then you're the one that might be acting up, Libra. We'll see what's happening. What's happening? What's going on? Somebody's on a journey. All right. I might have enough, but I feel like towards the end there, the cards are acting a little weird. Let's just make sure one more time if there's anything else these cards want to say. I wonder what that is. That last card that came out. Victory. All right, so we're going to put this down here. So we also have Journey. Let's see what else. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. I didn't even see that card. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out who's you. I have a feeling that it's these three right here. So, all right, we have... So that Victory card that came out, that could very well be you, the persona of you. And then we also have Journey. Well, I guess in the right order, we have Walking Away, which I also think is you. And then we have Journey. So a lot of times when Walking Away is coming out, it's coming out as kind of like, oh, you got to get away from that situation kind of thing. But I'm taking this as, you know, whatever you're walking away from. It could just be walking away to go on this journey. But either way, you know, if you are walking away from, well, obviously you're walking away from something. We've got Deceit and Envy on the table. This could be more than one person. This could be one person who's doing both, or this could be two people, or this could be many people who are doing both of those things. Maybe we'll get a better idea of what's going on there. So those guys go over there, and then you also have Blossoming Abundance, which usually is, to me, is like the end. But, you know, I could see how Libra would think like Happy Family, or like this Balance card might be the end, like the Balance with the Happy Family. So we also have two more doors here. I'm trying to figure out where I should put them, where I put them last time. All right. So Gemini got these. Gemini got door to value. Put it up there. And adjacent possibilities, which as far as I'm concerned is just a whole bunch of doors, you know, a whole bunch of possibilities. It's door to value can be anything. It's the opportunity to have those things. And then we're going to kind of stick this back up here again. I need some more cards. Oh, door to spirit. Well, you know what? Door to spirit usually goes this way, but something's going on with this reading. We're going to figure out what it is. What is all this on the table? Who's envious? Well, who's deceitful? That's really what I want to know. Can't be you guys. It can't be. I mean, you might be envious. It's possible. I doubt it. I doubt it. And deceit, I mean, that's a strong word for me. I mean, you can be a lot of things without being deceitful necessarily. These are all shuffled. Let's just see if Alice will talk. Gemini got that. You can't go back to yesterday. That's an ending. Well, I see walking away. Walking far away. Just keep walking, looking for street signs and stuff. Let me see what else is going on here. This possibility door to spirit belongs back over there again. Moment's regret. Again, it goes back to, can't go back to yesterday. No way. That better not be mortality. That looked a little bit like mortality. What is that? What? Gemini got this. The ending. This is the ending. Gemini got this. Wow. Okay. All right. So they were empaths. And some other stuff came out in the extended. But in the general regular read, they were empaths. And they had those two doors. You have him. But I think the envy might be you. The mortality is the ending. You missing yesterday. You missing yesterday. And you being envious of yesterday. Meanwhile, we have this deceit of walking away and journey. All right, well, we already know that we're walking away from the deceit. I don't know where the journey is yet. I want some more cards again. So the moons will help us a little bit, but I, at this point, want the blind spot. Libra. Only you could get like balance on the table with all this other riffraff. What the heck? All right, you know what? These are shuffled too. Let me see. Well, there's victory. Victory's on the table. I'm not convinced these are in the right spot necessarily, but I want some more cards, so we'll figure this out. More cards for Libra. Can we get, you know, some moons and figure out who else might be involved with this, or maybe a message that will kind of separate this story. It's like jumbled for some reason. All right, we're gonna pull trust all will be well. New moon in Virgo. Again, another thing that's going to happen by itself, probably because of that door to spirit. Let's go one through one more time, and then if I don't get any more, I'm not. Oh my God. Well, they didn't get that card, but they did get a card that said self-love. This is make time for self-love. This is, yeah, well, in endings, we probably should be wanting to do that anyway, right? We can also be really hard on ourselves during endings, and we can kind of blame ourselves or something. Last quarter moon in Cancer, take a breather. So there might be a Cancer, there might be another Libra, or there might be a Virgo involved. So this one is going to go up here, and then this one, and then this one. And what is our blind spot? What is Libra's blind spot? These are shuffled. These are the most difficult to manipulate because they're thick. Actually easier to shuffle the other way, the long way, but again, they're big. And what is what's Libra's blind spot? I think this one's new. What do we have here? What is 23? God, that looks pretty interesting, actually. 23 is, oh, we have gotten this one before. Inauthenticity. This is your blind spot. Inauthenticity. It's going to be my blind spot too if I don't write it down. Hold on. I'm just trying to figure out if this is them or you still. I mean, we could just start talking and figure out, like, you know what? This looks a lot like Gemini's reading in the way of, like, the way things were. Okay, so they had a relationship or something. It could have been family, anything, but basically like a something they were coming out of that they missed, that they wanted. But they didn't have all these, I was going to say seditious cards on the table. They didn't have anything on the table that would denote that it was a bad thing. So I had to kind of talk to them in a way of saying it doesn't have to be a bad thing for it to end. And when it ends, we don't have to treat it a certain way. When everything was normal or decent, it's just an ending because something else needs to begin, right? It's just an ending because something else needs to begin. This has a lot of components. This is like you kind of moving sort of in the same kind of theme as them, except for the bad things that are on the table, and you want different stuff. So even though you got the door to value and the adjacent possibility, which I consider to be like a bunch of doors on the table, your door to value is something different than Gemini's door to value, and your adjacent possibilities are going to be different than their possibilities. This one, it ended because you can't go back to yesterday. We wouldn't want to go back to yesterday if something didn't end, you know, because then we would just keep doing the same thing we're doing. It's not really considered like going back to yesterday. Going back to yesterday denotes something that we cannot get back, right? And then a moment's regret, which is the nostalgia card. It also says idealizing the past what does that say? Fearing you've made a mistake. So making a mistake by walking away from it, but idealizing is the word that I'm picking up. So again, it was kind of like what I was telling Gemini about looking back and kind of putting all this stuff on it, right? Like, oh, it was this, it was that. But to really look at it, take a breather here is probably the closest thing that I could get to the card that did come out for them, which was to take a look at it, take a good look at it and see it for what it really was, right? It ended for a reason. And when we kind of walk around and try to make it a certain thing, then it gets harder to see like what's really going on. And I do feel to a certain extent like the NB is like us going, like looking back and being envious of possibly the person that we were. Like Gemini had to kind of become a whole new person. Like they were getting out of that because they were changing, and the thing that they were in wasn't the person they were changing to wasn't a match for the thing that they were in, right? And so this thing right here is kind of like you kind of looking back and wishing you were there, wishing you were there, wishing you were there. Meanwhile, you're probably, you know, at some point either awakening or awakened. That was their issue too, was they were kind of awake enough to see it, and the other person in the situation may not have been awakened. This person definitely isn't awakened. This person is still playing games. This person is still manipulating. This person is still holding something in his hand that we have no idea what it is because it's concealed. Right? Not, you know, usually this is like when this card comes out with the deceit card, to me this is the chaos that they're causing. This is you wanting this but not being able to get it, because every single time it gets close to being even a little bit okay, that person causes chaos enough to where you would need to take a breather. Right? And as I've been telling, you know, the other signs, like you don't get a chance to go through this door or to go through this door, or you even have a hard time with this door when you're with somebody who's this, you know, or is acting like this, right? It's not a match. So it's one of those things where, you know, if you are bringing the envy and you're trying to go through the door to spirit, or you're trying to go through any of those doors, I mean, I don't even think you're going to get happy family and abundance together. I don't even think that you're going to have, or separate. And I don't think that you're going to have a victory, because you're not, anytime we're going towards abundance, this is the opposite. This is the opposite of what we want to bring. We want to have gratitude. So we don't want to look at things that we used to have or what somebody else has and like want it. We want to look at what we have and appreciate it, right? So a little bit of the backwards, you know, I don't think the envy is necessary. If this envy is you, okay, so let's back up for a second. Even if the envy isn't you, you were in it, like your energy was in it, so it's of you. So even if you didn't play in the deceit, you were still exposed to it. So a lot of times when these cards come up, you know, there might be something that denotes like detoxifying, because even if you weren't perpetuating it, you still kind of soaked it up in a way. So even if the envy isn't you, you still kind of soaked it up in a way. If it is you, then you're just holding it, so you still have it, right? But like I said, it might not be you. Part of me does want to put it back over there again. Because either you know you have it and you're trying to get away from it, or you don't have it, you know they have it and you're trying to get away from it, right? And you know that you want to get far away from it. But this is also part of the door to spirit, right? We're going somewhere else. They can't come. Deceit can't come. Deceit, okay. Who was it? Virgo? When I said that deceit couldn't walk through the door to romance with them, deceit can't walk through the door to spirit with you. Sorry. Look at him, he's dark no matter how you hold him or what the light's doing. He can't walk through the door to spirit with you. He'll melt. Something, I don't know. But he can't. This can't either. I always say this card looks a little bit less sinister, right? Some things are going to have to be done before you can even, well, and obviously you have something to recover from. So again, if this is like you with the envy, making time for self-love, kind of appreciating what you have, you know, especially if you do already have this stuff, blossoming abundance, happy family, right? Could be somebody who has these things and not be happy. Don't do that. Don't be envious of what other people have. If you have stuff, walk away from that. Far away. Right? It's the wrong vibration for wanting to get the stuff that you want. Not for wanting to get the stuff that you want to come to you. Right? Trust that all will be well. Sometimes when things are a little garbled, and it's hard to sort out when we take on the responsibility of having to sort it out. We can be overwhelmed, you know. It might be simpler just to even look for that balance. But even then, you know, Probably the most important thing you could do is take a breather, right? All these Alice cards are like the ending, trying to see, go back, trying to see back. Did I do the right thing? You tell me, did you do the right thing? Was this you? I doubt it. If you found this channel looking for a Libra reading, I doubt this is you. But I bet you're real familiar with it. It might not even just been this situation. You know, I always talk about that last one. We don't really talk about all the ones that got us there, right? Even in situations where we were like, we started out like with this. We thought that was bad. And then, you know, 10 years later, we ended up with this. Maybe it's even a totally different relationship, right? Maybe it's not even the same person that changed. Maybe we got in and out of something and then all of a sudden we were in the frying pan. It's a possibility. And then all of a sudden this like door to spirit shows up. We walk through it. I mean, just that alone is a small victory, right? Because people choose all the time not to wake up. I haven't seen it in a while, but I have seen it. People know. They know. And they're like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I sort of get it a little bit. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they can't, like, you know, well, it doesn't matter which doors I pick up. It doesn't mean they can't walk through it later, you know. I mean, I don't know about windows closing and all that other stuff, but contract isn't on the table. But if you're waking up, it probably is somewhere. You could also just choose to wake up. I mean, if your higher self allows it, it could be you go through enough of this and just make decisions. Let it change. Let you change, you know. Or just do a little bit of this and say, you know what, I would never do that. I would never do that to someone. And from that, just evolve. Get a lot closer to like this and this kind of thing. You don't even have to be like perfect. You don't really even have to have walked through the door of spirit. But sometimes when you come to the realization like that, the door of spirit might present itself. You know, it just depends, like I said, on what's going on. Sometimes this is meant to like once you experience this or this, to kind of like all of a sudden now you can see that door. Maybe it was always there, but you just needed to go through the thing that like brought you to where you could get to the point. But either way, we're still kind of looking at doors and still trying to figure out like how to walk away from whatever this past thing was. The healing cards might give us a little bit more insight into like deceit and envy, but I'm not picking up like any. I mean, you might even regret what you did. So it could have just been something that was like kind of like with Gemini, where it wasn't that bad. Like, yeah, somebody may have done something terrible, but they may have only done it once, and it might have been, you know, what they called a mistake. And so you're kind of like, ooh, was I harsh? You know? Maybe I should give this person another chance, right? They said they didn't mean to do it. They, you know, that would be kind of up to you. Most of the time when I see like tarot card readers from like people who are on a spiritual awakening, people who have walked through this door, they always say don't give the person a chance. Even before my spiritual awakening, I always said, do you remember why you walked away from that person? Right? Did they pretend to be something that they weren't? Maybe even to the point where other people coveted them? Were they inauthentic? Did you have to be somebody that you weren't to be with them? Did you have to be inauthentic? Gemini wasn't really inauthentic, but they were somebody that was really just was somebody different inside. They were already somebody different inside. It wasn't really about changing. It was about coming back to their like natural vibration, right? Take a breather, make time for self-love, trust that all would be well. Like this literally could be that. just being like, well, I'm just going to be myself. I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to walk away from this inauthenticity, right? The deceit, the envy, whatever it is. Envy could be anything. Envy could be, I mean, envy is envy, but envy could be jealousy. Envy could be anything. That's not deceit, because deceit is on the table. These are the only 2 cards that look like this in this deck. Could be anything, right? Like I said, might not even have been that terrible, to the point where you're like, did I do the right thing? Am I sure? Did I walk away from something that was coming that I just wasn't patient enough for? Right? This card's telling you no, you did not. It's not, you did not. I mean, you could sit in that, like, especially if that person like went away forever, you could sit in that. Did I do the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Do I want to go back? Do I want to go back? Did I do the right thing? Right? Especially if they're not around. Because you could keep asking, oh, they're gone, they're doing fine. They're not back here on my doorstep. They must be doing fine, right? Right? And I mean, my question is, do you think that they've changed? Again, you could perceive it as being not that bad, but do you want to keep doing this with them? Let's say that thing that happened, it happened one time, right? If you forgive them and it happens again, are you prepared to go on that journey with them a bunch of times? Or maybe they don't do that same thing. Maybe they do something else. I mean, they are capable, right? Right? It's the whole reason why we decided to maybe like walk away. Like, I wish you hadn't done that. Did I do the right thing? You know? It is always up to you, but again, keep in mind about repeating cycles. Because I know what you're doing. You're going towards this and you're going towards this, right? But that's where you're walking in a direction that you perceive those things to be, right? If you're walking towards this guy, I don't think what you're looking for is there. You're walking further away from your opportunities to the things that you value, right? Maybe even walking away from the balance, the yin yang in your life. Because again, always looking for balance in this, right? Everybody wants this. You have the capacity to bring it to yourself, but not if you spend too much time in the past. You need to trust that all will be well. You need to allow yourself to be taken away from this to the point where the direction that you walk is the direction that you want to go. You're walking towards what you want. You're not walking towards what you don't want any more of. That would be walking away, right? Libra, we're at a point where we're going to want to pull some more cards. The best thing that I can say for you here, and this is a little bit coming from Gemini's reading, but it's, look at the situation. I mean, that's what take a breather is for me. Look at the situation, right? Take a look, a good look at why did it end? Did you end it because they did something? Because you could trace that back to them doing something and that's why it ended. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not all on you. You don't, if I always say in when people, talk about like bad relationships that they're exiting and that was all the other person, and I always say that you had I was going to say a say in it, but you had a role in it. You were there, right? You did actions. There was ripple effects from this, right? So in this situation, I'm going to say the opposite. It wasn't all you. This person did stuff in this situation that made it the way it was. Even if it, like I told Gemini, wasn't that terrible. I don't see deprogramming on the table. I see regret. I see regret for walking away. I see regret for being out of it. Maybe even regret for, it ending. Just a lot of regret, right? Like I say, I think that might be where the envy's coming from, but not a good place to be if you're looking for balance, and not a good place to be if you're walking through the door to spirit, and not a good place to be if you're walking towards happy family and abundance, and not a good place to be if you want to value things, you want to get more things that you value, you want to keep getting things that you value, and you just want to have these, you're taking these negative energies and you're bringing with you, even if you walk away from deceit, right? You still have that inside you, but like we talked about, even if it wasn't you, you have it. You have to let go of it. Making time for self-love is part of it, because even if you just did that separately, if you let that stay, but then you did this, you'd start to realize how the deceit affected you, and then you'd process that and get rid of it. Trust that all will be well. So Libra, we're going to pull some more cards. I want to get some healing or something. It's a little bit more insight on, hopefully, on this or this. If this is your reading, meet us over at the Extended. The link is in the description. And if not, until we meet again.